Hey, what's up everybody? Thanks for taking the time to check out another Lexus IS300 turbo build video. This video I'm going to be diving in with a bunch of leaks I've been dealing with. It seems like ever since this car's been started, it's just had leaks coming out of every orifice. Basically everything but the brakes. I haven't touched the brakes yet, so just wait till I change the fluid on those. We'll probably get a brake leak. Anyways, today I'm going to be dealing with my oil relocation kit. I have a little bit of a leak at the fitting that I got to address. My transmission line has a leak where it connects to the fitting that's directly to the transmission itself, so I'll be taking care of that as well. And then thirdly, my turbo is blasting tons of oil out the exhaust side of the turbo down into my exhaust pipes, so I'm going to take all that off and we're going to have to address that and see what's going on there. So here's the process. Enjoy. Okay, so it's been 1 week since the car started. Everything was really cool, and I just had a couple leaks to address before moving forward. One of them happened to be from the drain plug for the oil. The fitting I had, or the bolt, came with this little plastic washer, which I think was the culprit. So I'm basically just draining the oil right now. I'm going to get rid of this washer. I also took my filter off where my relocation kit is. I just got the rag up there soaking up any residual oil. But I also had a leak with my oil coming from those two fittings right there on my relocation. I can't remember if I threaded them or not, and it seems to be that's where they're leaking, so that's gonna have to come off, and I'm gonna have to check that out and investigate. Another leak that I came across was from the transmission. It happened to be from this transmission line right here. So basically, which one is it? This one right here, I'm sorry. Kind of hard to see, but there's a, well, I'll just show you this one. There's kind of like a similar bolt pattern like this that needs to be screwed in a little tighter. It's going to be hard to get to. Obviously, I can't even show it to you, so that's going to be the challenge at hand, and I'm going to get to addressing that. Oh, and I also need 4 bolts. I'm not exactly sure where the hell those are, but I need them. Okay, so I got my fittings off the relocation kit. I did use thread tape, so maybe it just wasn't tightened down enough. Proper threading, I'm not sure. So I'm gonna rethread it, and I'm gonna tighten it down again and get it really nice and tight and just try again. Okay, taped up. Let's do this. Okay, so it's actually another week later. I got this fitting on, and then when I went to put the hose side on, it got in a little crooked, and this aluminum on this fitting is super soft, I guess, so it just completely stripped the threads here beyond the point of return. So I had to get a Fragola one, or a Fragola. Went ahead and got it put up in there. Everything's nice and tight, and hopefully no oil will leak out. And yeah, it was a pain in the ass. You have to get this 1-inch wrench somehow wiggled in there, and you're tightening like a centimeter at a time. Pretty annoying, but that's what it is. Okay, the other leak I had was my transmission fluid was leaking from this area right here. So I went ahead and checked both of these nuts or fittings, whatever you may call it, out, and they are both tight as tight. So I am going to the next scenario that maybe there's a crack right here in this hard line. So I'm not sure. I might have to replace that with rubber hose and a new fitting, but we'll see how bad it is this next time I start it up. Alright, car fired up first time. I didn't think it was going to, so I didn't start a video, but we're running. I got my foot on the accelerator though, just because I don't think it's gonna hold idle if I let go. I'm gonna let it warm up, see what it does, turn it off, and see if there's any leaks. Alright, so the car didn't hold idle like I thought it wouldn't, but there's my transmission leak. As you can see, it's coming from that nut right there that seats into the fitting, but I think something else is going on there. I might have to replace that. And now it looks like I may have another type of issue going on here with my oil. I'm trying to figure out where exactly it's coming from. It's obviously up above the turbo, maybe somewhere on the flange or the turbo itself. We'll have to find out here. On a positive note, I don't see any oil leaking from my relocation kit where it was leaking before, so that's a plus. Definitely happy about that. Yeah, nothing coming out of there either. That's good. Awesome. Okay, so I'm here in my garage where I got a couple of spare transmissions that I sourced basically just to use, rebuild them and use them as backups or source them out for parts if they're completely shot. In this case, I might be sourcing out a part because my line was leaking right here in this spot in front, not on the threads, but in front here, so some kind of connection's bad. So I'm thinking that maybe I'm going to just get an AN fitting or something to screw into this with a push fitting, and I'll just run a hose instead of this hard line. Or I'll do this and cut it right here and use a hose, but that's kind of pointless anyways. Or another option would be to just take this completely out of the equation and have something screwed in directly to the transmission. So few options, and I'm gonna decide here in a second. All right, so I decided to go ahead and pull my old line out and use a used one off of my spare transmission. I cut these pieces off because it was completely bent just the wrong direction. I tried to get it back online, but it was just not happening, so I ended up just cutting that stuff. And what I ended up doing is getting it able to go right here. But one thing that I didn't know before is that the way that this line sits inside these fittings is it has to butt up next to the other end of the line here. So if you think it's tight and you still got slack going on in here where it's like got a little wiggle, it's not tight enough. You gotta tighten it enough so that there's no play whatsoever in this line. Otherwise you're gonna have a leak like I did. I would have been able to keep that existing line, but as I tried to tighten it, the bolt or the fitting itself just completely rounded out, and I couldn't get it out without taking this other one off, so I just replaced it all together. So I believe that that part of my leak syndrome is done. The next thing that we have to address is I've got oil coming out of my exhaust, which usually only means one thing: my turbo seal is bad. So I have to conquer that now. Wow, so this is definitely not a good thing. All I've done is loosen that one bolt right there, and I have this consistent drip coming from my downpipe. This is so unfortunate. We're gonna get it figured out though. Okay, so I got the downpipe off, and clearly you can see the oil is coming from the exhaust side of the turbo, which probably means a bad seal. So this turbo is going to come off and it'll get investigated further, but looks like it'll be needing to get replaced, which kind of sucks because from what I understand this thing was brand new or assembled with new parts. So yeah, it hasn't even gotten on the road, so definitely not my fault. Hopefully I can get this issue resolved. Alright, so that's just how it goes with building cars, you know. Things don't always go as planned. To clear the car runs, you know, we just got to get these leaks addressed before we can go any further. So just continue plugging away at it, keep checking back. Next video is going to be obviously of me taking that turbo off, getting that crap dealt with, whether it's getting fixed or if I'm buying a new one. So just keep checking in. We're going to get this car rolling, man. It's going to be good, and yeah, thanks for watching.